years old. I did not tell him. But I looked at the sores on his chest and on his arms, which he has multiple, more than 20. And when I told him about my skin condition, uh, what he did was he said, "Yeah, and it's worse. It's worse right up here. That's the bad part, right up here, right up here." That was his reactions. I didn't tell him you got Morgellons, but I knew it. And he's 85 years old. Now, one thing that I don't like is that the regions, it's Clearwater, St. Petersburg, Tampa, Houston, Texas, and LA are regions where they have more cases being reported of. And I'm registered with University of Oklahoma Health Science Center. I'm a registered Morgellons patient now. And if I die, I want my body to be sent to University of Oklahoma, Dr. Randy Wymore, and I want it for autopsy because I know that in my legs there's Morgellons. There's Morgellons. There's a reservoir right there. You could cut that open and it would flood out of this. It would flood out this oozy jelly Morgellons. It's a reservoir and it deteriorates your muscles. Yesterday, yesterday I was uh, uh, collecting and burning brush, and I broke one. Lynn was with me, and I broke one branch, and when I did it, my neck snapped. Oh, and that hurts right there. It hurts less now than it did this morning. I was worried. Maybe my muscle deterioration might get to the point where I can't even hold up my head. In other words, I won't be able to hold up my head. It hurts to turn the key in the ignition. It hurts to open the door of the car. Uh, I have sores. Here's one that maybe you can see. Little black sore. Yeah, that's the Morgellons coming up, and it feels like glass. These things they crystallize, and it feels like glass shards when they're tiny like that. And dry. If they're moist, it feels like little things coming out. But when they're dried, they dry to like glass crystals. Other Morgellon sufferers talk about that too, having areas that it feels like glass shards or whatever. These are microscope. You take a microscope. I have gone to doctors. I've had not. They have this thing up on the wall with a magnifying glass and a light. Not one doctor has used it, and they gave me a diagnosis of seborrheic dermatitis. At least they gave me a diagnosis, and I'm taking what treatment I can. But I'm not going to get proper treatment until I get to University of UCSF or UC Davis, one or the other. That's where I need to be, and I need to be there yesterday. Uh, if I cannot walk, if I can't hold up my head, and what good am I? And I'm having brain scramble where I have a hard time doing painting. I have a hard time doing all these other things that, oh, look, I have eyebrows. I showed you that yesterday. That's from that shampoo that the doctor gave me. Anyway, in the other video, boric acid, what's the LD50 for it, and how much should I take a day, and do you think it will get rid of my Morgellons? And while we're on that subject, I have two sample jars, full of Morgellon worms. There's probably 50 in this one, 30 or around 30, and I have another one that has about 20 or so. And especially good ones because I took them to the doctor. Some perfectly formed with they're about that long and they're perfectly straight. They're sectioned. You call that like a centipede. It has these rounded sections, and each section is called a I forget the word right now, but the round kind of sections, and that's how they section off. And then one end opens up, and so you have this it looks like a little stick with an end that kind of opens up, and that's and I don't believe I say Morgellons worms, but I think it's the fruiting body of whatever this Morgellons is. And when you have a Morgellons worm on your hair, it will pull all your hair to it. It will match your hair down. It will hurt. It will bother you all day long. Uh, um, the back of my ear, this has been a especially bad spot. Quite a few of the worms have come from it. Um, and this is very typical. That this hairline that goes down both sides, that's where a major. I've seen other patients, their backs are covered with sores, and that's all raw meat, just raw meat going down their back. It looks like I mean it looks like hamburger meat or steak meat, and but now besides those, I added like 5 yesterday of these worms. Let me see. From yesterday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And I had a couple pop out. Um, I don't know if this is going to work. That one popped out on its own right there. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it popped out on its own. And when they pop out on their own, they're usually bad. And that was a big bad one. I'm glad it's out of me. Out of me. But then I don't know whether another one's going to form. I don't know if you were able to see that or not. But anyway, I have 2 sample jars, and I was wondering, David, if we could isolate them and get auger plates or whatever medium we need. We'd probably have to try different mediums, and whether we can isolate the organism. And I don't know whether we're going to have to use skin culture medium or maybe. Human stem cell medium or something, or even auger medium. Who knows? Maybe it'll grow an auger medium. Um uh, you know, the Kaiser Permanente did a study, Northern California. That is not one of the regions that they had high outbreaks of this stuff. It's more in the south and why Kaiser Permanente, when they had Los Angeles, many cases they choose to go to the Bay Area or north of the Bay Area where there's no fire ants. But I don't know what the vector could be. But what we need to do is we need to isolate it. We need to take one of those little things with a needle and we either need to take one of these worms and try to extract the DNA, have the DNA analyzed, and we also have to isolate the organism